Late this afternoon, the Minnesota Senate approved a bill that would raise the state's minimum wage from $6.15 to $7.50 an hour. But would it attract more Wisconsinites to cross the border to find work?
News 8's Pauline Lee talked to businesses on both sides of the Mississippi to find out.
Well, under the bill, Minnesota's minimum wage would be higher than Wisconsin's by about 25 cents. But it wouldn't stop there. Minnesota's minimum wage would continue to rise to $9.50 an hour by the year 2015. And that change has businesses on both sides of the border thinking.
It's like a big family here, so we've all been together for a while.
At King Street Kitchen in La Crosse, even employees that have worked here for decades started out making minimum wage.
Your work ethic, if it's good, you make more than minimum.
Wisconsin's minimum wage is currently $7.25 an hour. If Minnesota bumps its rate to $7.50 an hour, owner Darren Zymek says his employees probably wouldn't find the extra 25 cents an hour worth it to leave his business. But if it keeps increasing to $9.50 an hour, he says offering competitive wages might be tough.
You'd have to raise prices, because otherwise it affects the bottom line, and that bottom line's already tight the way it is, so I mean, you wouldn't have a choice, you'd have to raise prices.
Just across the river, Bowers Market and Garden Center in La Crescent would gladly hire Wisconsinites.
We've got quite a number of people on the Wisconsin side of the river that are already employed here and have for years and years.
But owner Bruce Bauer says the change could mean increased prices and maybe a cutback in staffing to make up the difference.
Anytime wages go up, obviously that's another inherent cost of operations, overhead, that we have to analyze and watch.
He says it's a struggle between quantity and quality.
We'd have to analyze it very closely though, because there's a fine line. You want to have, a nice adequate amount of staff around to take care of people. That's the key to being in business.
And that means all these businesses can do now is wait to see how the lawmakers vote.
And I'll have to pay a little more attention and see what's going to happen.
Now, Zymek isn't just concerned about being able to offer competitive wages since the bill passed. He says the difference in wages across the border could lead to a shortage of qualified applicants looking for work. It's been about 4 years since Wisconsin raised its minimum wage.
Thanks, Pauline. Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton says he would support a bill that would set the state's minimum wage somewhere between $9 and $9.50 an hour.